morning, nor it wasn't a real walk. It was a mini walk, right? I did a mini walk and a mini core exercise, okay? Because I know when I go to work, I'm going to be very busy. And, a lot of things was crossing my mind, right? As I decided, listen, Cherie, just do a condensed version, right? Condense your workout into 15 or 20 minutes. Yeah, you'll love yourself for it. The dog will love the dog will love you. And I did that. We only walked around the block, right? I had stated in my previous videos that was, a contemplation, and that I would, eventually try to do that, just, to let my dog know that, I'm putting in some time with her before I leave the house. Yes, I'll be gone for some long hours, but I'll be back. Okay? Wow. I did leave out of the house forgetting to take my Swanson vitamins. I'm going to have to try to either put a reminder in my phone, to take the vitamins when I come home. And I'm not too worried about it because my protein drinks and my liquid IV is, vitamin fortified, right? So it isn't going to be as if, you didn't, get, proper vitamins, which is why I'm not going to turn around and go back and get my vitamins. But some of the things that I was, thinking about, when I was walking was, I was visualizing the three tribes of Europe, that was involved in doing a massive land grab, right? You had the Caucasians, you had the Spaniards, and you had the French, right? And here in America, we see remnants of that, and even while, they were overtaking the North America, they also breeded with the Indians. So everyone that they had came in contact with, a lot of times they breeded with their subjects. We see this in war, right? If you ever, look at documentaries where, a land that was in war with another country, how sometimes, the opposition had, left behind, offsprings, right? Yeah. So, one of the things that was crossing my mind that, this, especially the black slaves. The black slaves was definitely, greeted with, this with the Spaniards, the French, the Indians, and even the Asians, right? The Asians wasn't quite into the slave trade as much as the other three tribes, but because they were also employed or seeking expansion, here in North America, they were here. Okay? They were here. And, proximity, will override, culture and tradition, especially when it comes to pursuing your desires. So that being said, okay, it's interesting, how many people are actually taking tests to find out, their genetics through, like places like Ancestor websites, or doing an Ancestor.com, trying to trace back, their history, because I do look at a lot of people. I'm totally interracial, and I don't deny it. There's no possible way I can deny it. I refuse to deny it. I'm one of those people who, was, jumping for joy when they gave us the option, to select multiracial in identifying, our race. And here's the thing. Part of the reason this had came to my attention was, of course, understanding that, there's no pure blood, okay? There's a lot of people running around here, acting like they're pure bloods, right? Oh, they're pure, black, right? And yet they're probably maybe only 5 shades darker than me. And I'm looking at them, I'm looking at their features, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You want to be the representative of, the black people, or you want to be the representative of the white people, and your hair is curly, and there's brown eyes in your, family, and, and stuff like that, okay? But then, I also watch animal documentaries, right? And often would wonder why, there are only polar bears, white polar bears in the Arctic, or white huskies, in the Arctic, right? And then I started, thinking about, how, our environment, affects uh, our composition. Okay. Even going from, one region to another region here in America, where they'll ask you, you know, do you have any fruits or pets, plants, you know, uh, and it just blew my mind how real, different environments have different bacteria and viruses, right? Because when you're in that environment, you've probably adapted or, originated in a symbiotic relationship with those with that environment. However, when you start to change environments, this is where you'll, might encounter, problems, right? I watch, videos on travelers, okay? And I watch some people, they'll travel from, Africa to South America to the Caribbeans to Asia, and sometimes they'll indicate that they had some type of jet lag, right? And sometimes I wonder, well, is it really jet lag, or could it be your exposure, to the bacteria and the viruses of that area, right? And I be blessing these people with the ability to heal, right? And of course, for us human beings, sleep is very healing. Yeah, by the way, I slept really good last night. I'm thinking I'm going to get me, I'm going to invest in a sleeping mask in the future, near future. Just because, I have a sleeping mask, but this sleeping mask is, it lays too hard upon my eyeballs. I want to get one of those sleeping masks that doesn't lay on my eyeballs, because one of the things that was brought to my attention, that when we're in REM sleep, our eyeballs are actually moving, right? So I'm like, okay, having mask that was too tightly close to our eyeballs is probably counterproductive if it restrains your eyeballs from moving, right, to get that great REM sleep. Okay, so then I was watching some border videos, right? And on these border videos, how seriously Border Patrol will even confiscate and fine you for even having roots, seeds, uncooked meat. Yeah. people who, try to smuggle those things in don't really understand, just like I kind of got an idea of why, but such as, the seeds can contain, a bacteria that can grow and spread like wildfire and change the whole ecology, of an environment. And it's like, yeah, understood. Okay. But here's the thing. The thing that we don't understand, or that we don't really pay attention to, is our bodies also have its own ecosystem full of flora and bacteria and even parasites that, we tolerate, or that hasn't taken us out. And, from culture to culture, background to background, not all things are compatible. Because surely, somebody that grew up in a rainforest or even a tropical rainforest, is different than, somebody that may have grew up in a desert, right? Because let's face it, not everything can live in these environments, right? Then we have environments that have the seasons, okay? When you live in the environments that have the seasons, it does seem like, you have more of a possibility of, adapting to all environments. In my opinion, of course, in my opinion. At least more so than those who were raised, in a one climate region. And a lot of times our futures are formed through, what scientists calls natural selection, okay, to suit us best for our environment, okay? So, yeah, it made sense to me. Even when I think about hair, right? The difference between having an afro in snowy regions where, the snow and the cold air is freezing your hair, doesn't make a lot of sense, okay? It makes more sense to have hair that, doesn't lay down on your body in areas that are hot. Okay, so to me that explained the differences between the straight hair and the curly hair, right? Because the curly hair, it doesn't lay on your body. It's obviously hair that's conducive for, very hot weather, you know. Yeah. So those were the things, that I had contemplated today, right? Of course, today I have my hair up in a bun. I plan on being productive, and I have my sweatband that I use because I hate it when the sweat comes down, burns my eyes, or drips down, all on my neck, making me feel yucky. Okay? So, that was, one thing that I was, contemplating today. Another thing that I was contemplating was, again, it always goes back to, the misogamy, the patriarchy, right? And that foolery. Yesterday, when I was doing my second walk, when I came back, I turned on my sink faucet, my kitchen sink faucet, and no water came out. And I'm like, that's, this is ridiculous. I know I paid my bill, right? But then, of course, my mind was, is somebody playing pranks, trying to sabotage or create some kind of psychological issues with me, right? And so, I resigned to looking online to see if, the city of Garland had, a notification of, shut-offs or outages. And I guess I'm not signed up for it yet. I will. Right? Because that was one of the things that I really liked about Spectrum, right? When I signed up for Spectrum, now if Spectrum has an outage, you can go to their website, you can put in your zip code, and they will let you know if there's an outage in your area. And I was like, yeah, that's so great. It's crazy, not to know, right? You don't know if it's your equipment. You don't know if if services will be restored, and the Spectrum usually gives you an approximate time frame. And I'm like, wow, Spectrum, you have really, come a long ways. Okay? And in the past, even when the notification of, okay, well, you won't have service for 2 hours. They will even send out a second notification due to unseen circumstances. The outage will extend another 2 hours, but hopefully we'll have the problem solved within that time period. Yeah, that's such a comforting acknowledgement. Okay, than to just be in the dark, and having to make your own suppositions. And it makes you feel like these people have a certain amount of control, without accountability, right? And when they don't inform you, what's going on with services that you pay for. But anyway, those are things that I think about, right? So I go back, I check to see if I have water pressure, right? Because I already had a plan, because I have the water key. I can always go out there and check, to see if, my water was turned off, in error. Because today is the cutoff date for a lot of people to pay their their water bill or their electricity bill. If you have a home, they'll because the water, trash, and electricity are bundled together, in order to get your attention. The utilities company will go around and shut your water off to let you know that you didn't pay your bill. They could do your electricity, but a lot of times they don't like to do your electricity just because so many things are tied into electricity. Somebody could be connected to some kind of machine that requires electric, stuff like that, plus your refrigerator, your car, your security system, all that. So I guess Garland City decided to notify you that you haven't paid your bill yet with a warning sign, right? So of course this gets back to my thought that wouldn't it make more sense to send out reminders? Hey, today is your due date, right? A friendly reminder, right? Why it seems like that's too much to ask for, I don't know, right? This is like the misogyny of this capitalistic world that we live in, right? To where they get you to depend on them, and then, rather than, be courteous to you because you're complying with them, they turn on you, right? That's what it feels like. That's exactly how it feels. It's like, okay, remember when internet was an option, right? It was an option. You didn't have to have internet, right? You could use dial-up for free, right? But not today. Today, internet is a necessity, right? And even if you don't want internet, you still have to have internet just to have a phone. Okay? And if you think I'm lying, when you got your phone and they asked for your Gmail account, or you had to make a Gmail account, that's, you logging into the internet. Okay, no problem. So now, people are like, well, they want to live off grid. They want to, shut down all of their electronic devices. They don't like the fact that, there's data being accumulated off of their electronics. Your cars, have, computers. Your phone has computers. Your home, if you have, security system or a smart home, all of that, requires, a certain amount of monitoring. And the data is sold. Okay? Anyway. I really got off on a tangent, but here's the thing, right? So many people feel like, they don't have the ability to change things, right? So they move here, they move there, they might be accepted in their new area, or they might not and have to move again. But the one thing, that we can't do is turn back the hands of time, right? And of course, there are some people who are like, well, if I burn this place down, then, we'll all have to start all over from ground zero. And it's just like, what kind of crazy pill did that person take today? Right? What kind of crazy pill did that person take today? You would rather burn the thing, burn the world down and start from ground zero than to evolve, right? Me, I would love to be able to tell that person, before burning things down to ground zero, I challenge you to evolve first. Okay? Evolve, you might like it, right? Evolve, you might like it. Anyway, I will tell you, evolving is a very hard thing to do for some people, believe me, you know, I I often call myself, the Empress of the fixed signs, right? Because of my placements, right? I have Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio planetary placements in my chart. Okay? So it's a extreme stubbornness, right? Stubbornness has a lot of bad connotations to it, but let's say extreme resilience, right? But let me tell you something. Extreme resilience can be great, especially when people are trying to burn the world down to ground zero. It's like, so what? You want to burn the ground? Nope. We're digging our heels in, and that's a no-go, right? Don't let me call the ancestors down, right? But it happened anyway. I called down the ancestors, and I told them that, look, they wanted to burn everything down to ground zero. And so, yeah, you don't have to believe me, but that's okay, right? Thank you for watching. Like I said, I didn't take you with me on, my morning walk, and maybe when I get the setup, I will film, my core exercises and the exercises that I do, when I'm laying down, in the bed watching TV. Okay? Stay tuned. And keep watching me on Cherie's Way.